am now live. All right, let's go. Sorry, my table's a little dirty because there's been a lot of teas packing up and going out, and bags being too small and the wrong size. All right, so today we're going to taste the tea that I thought I was tasting yesterday. So this is also a Qimen, so we're going to be on that same kind of Qimen kit. This Qimen is from the maker who is from the maker. It's from the not the maker, but he's a sourcer. He's a Qimen specialist in Hongshan. And he's the one who got me the savory Qimen 2 years ago. If you guys remember the savory Qimen, it was amazing. And he said that this Qimen is actually similar. And the price is a little more expensive, but similar. It's a little similar. But Qimens do kind of tend to look the same. I have yet to be able to look at a Qimen and say, this is a good looking Qimen. It's not a good looking Qimen. And so yeah, we're going to taste it. A couple of things for the website. Hokui is on the website in very, very limited quantities. In fact, there's only a few ounces left, and I don't know if we'll be able to restock. So if you want some Hokui, definitely check out that. That's a good smell. Definitely check out that the Hokui on the website. There is another tea on the website. Yellow tea. There's a yellow tea on the website. So this is the same yellow tea that One River Tea is selling. But basically, this is a completely handmade yellow tea from Horshan, which is one of the most famous, one of the best places for yellow tea. It's like that and then Ding. But Anhui yellow tea has Horshan, is Horshan. And so both me and One River Tea are selling this tea. The interesting thing, though, is I am selling it standalone. I am selling it independently by the ounce, and One River Tea is selling it as part of a tasting. And so this is actually a really cool thing because for those of you who have had the tea and really understand how great this tea is, and if you want more of it, that's me. You come to me. I can get you an ounce or more. But for those of you who are new to the tea or curious about this tea, it's a very, very exciting tea and definitely worth trying. And you just want to try this tea for the first time, or you want to try it against other yellow teas to really understand this tea, go to One River Tea. One River Tea, that whole sampler is really, really nice. So yeah, it's actually really. I've played with ideas of samplers, but One River Tea samplers are really, really cool. Definitely worth checking out. I am liking the smell on this already. So here we have a good amount of buds, good amount of, it's a good amount of buds. And the interesting thing about buds is that when it comes to Qimen at least, you don't want it too buddy. If there's too many buds, that's a problem. It's just going to make the tea overly sweet, kind of like a sugary sweetness, and there's not going to be much body. There's not going to be much complexity of flavor, actually. There's definitely going to be, it's just the flavors aren't going to be developed, very similar to a tea that's picked too early. And I know that the Jinju Mei is popular and famous, and people love that, and it's all buds and super golden and pretty and whatever. But that's another conversation. But for Qimens, like you don't want too many buds. You definitely don't want all buds. And honestly, even if it's like 90% buds, that's a lot. That's a lot of buds. So we are gonna weigh it out because it's a new tea. 6 grams, too much. I thought I was gonna get it. Qimens get 5 grams. So remember, when I'm looking at a Qimen, what I'm looking for is my triangle. I'm judging it via the triangle. I don't have a bucket next to me, and I need to give me 1 second. I gotta disappear. I don't have. Sorry. Yeah, so I'm looking for this triangle of sweet, smooth, and other flavors, other characteristics. And if the tea is sweet and it's smooth and it has other characteristics, floral aroma, cherry notes, a savory mouthfeel, then it's a great tea for me. Usually, teas will have 2 of the 3. Some cases, just 1 of the 3. So maybe it's sweet and smooth, which is it's very common for a Qimen to be sweet and smooth, but not have anything that sets it apart. It just kind of has that normal Qimen flavor. The Qimen we tried yesterday in my last live, it was sweet. It had other characteristics, really, really nice floral notes and this, that, and the third. Really interesting. A lot of interesting notes, but it wasn't smooth. It was tannic. It was bitter. And the tannic and bitter can sometimes be okay for Qimen if it's kind of controlled. But this one was almost distracting me. It wasn't allowing me to appreciate these interesting notes. It was too much. And so the 3 things I look for is the triangle. I want a tea that's sweet. I want a tea that's smooth, and I want a tea that gives me other flavors. Funny story about this particular tea, or buying this tea. Every time I think my Chinese is getting better, I make a mistake. Basically, I messaged this maker, and I was like, "Hey, here's 200 kwai," and what I wanted was a few samples of a few different Qimens, including this one that he had sent me. And I was like, "Here's 200 kwai, give me a few teas." No, he gave me 200 kwai worth of this one tea. So instead of getting, 25 grams of 3 teas, I got 125 grams of this one tea or something like that. I haven't weighed it out. I do want to quickly take a side note and talk about Jianjian, the local teaware here, which I'm beginning to appreciate more. I don't know if you can't. No, you can't see that. The lighting. A little. So this is actually a funny story about this. This is one of the teas. This is one of the teacups I took from my last apartment. I was like, well, if you're going to kick me out and break contract, I'm going to take some teacups. And it's gorgeous. And I call this my Mudan cup. Mudan is osmanthus? No, peony. Because you have, and I don't know if you can see, it looks like a peony with this like small specks in the middle, and then they all kind of come out like petals. Really, really pretty. And I'm starting to, when I first came to Jianyang, I didn't really care for the local teaware. I feel like a couple years ago it was more popular, but even back then I didn't really care for it. But recently, actually, from the cups I took from the apartment, I've been able to start to understand it and start to understand quality. And I'm really in the beginnings, but a lot of it has to do with the depth of color. Um, cheap Jianjian. I've seen the word, but I haven't heard it pronounced. Cheap Jianjians. Um, the color is very solid. It's similar to Ginger Gen when the when the when the painting is not hand painted, when the image is not hand painted. Um, it's very solid. It's just very just boom. It's like it's printed on. Um, but for Ginger Gen porcelain and for good Jianjian, um, the colors almost have depth, and the colors aren't as solid. They're a little bit. They have a hue. There's a little bit of depth. Um, yeah. Very, very bright and citrusy. A lot of citrus, actually. You get when you're drinking like I forget what it's called, but the seltzer, it's like seltzer and orange juice, like orange juice seltzer sort of thing. Very bright. Sourcing teas without being in the region is really not fun, really not enjoyable. Um, you tell the maker what you want, and you try and tell them as accurately as possible, and they go, "Oh yeah, yeah, I know," and you just fucking hope they send you what you want. Like today, they didn't. There's a nice depth to it, actually. Hmm. It is. It's like very. And I wish it's an Italian brand. Oh God, you guys, people watching this are gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like sparkling orange juice, or like it's like seltzer with orange flavoring and lemon flavoring, little tiny bubbles, and this is what that tastes, and this is that sensation is what I'm getting. Flavors coming out a little bit stronger there. It's really like I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Acidity is also kind of a thing that's going on here. That's why I'm getting that citrusy feel to it. It's a little acidic. Um, hmm. I don't know how I feel about it. One thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to let it cool, actually. because I think the flavor of the cool tea is going to be very, very different from the hot tea. Like that. It's really interesting. The body is super light. The body is, I mean, it tastes like I'm drinking a sparkling orange juice. And there's lingering kind of bitterness, acidity, but I'm not hating it. It's just a super, super interesting Qimen, actually. And so, okay, let's talk about the triangle here. First of all, other characteristics, nailing that point, really nailing that point. This has characteristics I've just never seen in a Qimen. I don't know if you had me blind taste it. I don't know if I would even tell you it's a Qimen. I mean, maybe it does have some of the Qimen-ness. Smoothness, not particularly. You're getting kind of the average Qimen level of tannicness, acidity. And so I wouldn't really call it smooth. And I think the smooth is the hardest one for Qimens. I think it's very, very rare you get a smooth Qimen, just because I think because it's a small leaf variety, it's harder to achieve smoothness. That's really interesting. Drying a little bit. It's drying, but it's not like, so there's flaws and then there's characteristics. And I don't know if I would call this a flaw in a way. It's drying, but it's not overly drying. My mouth, it's taut. My mouth is kind of puckering. It's sour. I think the sour acidity is what's kind of setting this one apart. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, would I put this on the website? And I think if I put it on the website, I would name it sour Qimen, acidic Qimen, because that is what's unique about this Qimen, and I would want whoever's buying it to understand that, like, this is the reason this Qimen is on the website, and not to get thrown off by that. Actually, and there's some nice aromas to it. It's floral. there's a lot of good. There's a lot in there actually. It's kind of corn flaky actually a little bit. Something just reminds like kind of that mouthfeel of like eating cornflakes and the crunchy. Kind of like I can compare it to like a dry champagne, like a dry sparkling white wine. I think that's kind of the best way to put it. Um, yeah, kind of in that realm of like, yeah, it's drying and it's a little bit tannic, it's a little bit this, that, and the third. But it almost seems to it almost works. It's kind of like, oh, you're I don't even know how to put it. Like that friend with the dry humor, and he's always kind of shitting on people, whatever. But you're like, yeah, that's you. That's very, very interesting. That's super, super interesting. And I think just this sensation, because it's not completely out of control. Um, it's on the tongue, it's drying on the tongue, a little bit at the teeth. Very, very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. And another thing I'm kind of turning in my head is like, okay, because I've tasted a good number of Qimens, I can appreciate this difference. I can appreciate the fact that this is not like this doesn't represent majority of Qimens. And I think the mistake that somebody buying this would make would be to buy it and then say, not buy it, not like it, and then write off Qimen's. Um, or if you don't like if you're not really a fan of Qimen, this Qimen isn't going to save you. The savory Qimen 2 years ago that would have saved Qimen for you. That would have changed your mind. This is not a mind changer. Um, this is almost a Qimen for people who like Qimens and who like red teas even. It's like a Qimen for the people who like red teas and who have drank a good amount of red teas and are interested in unique red teas. I think this is achievement for that person. It's very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Even right now, it's it's lingering like I'm gonna be a broken record here. Pellegrino. No, Pellegrino is the sparkling something like Pellegrino. Um, but the way that lingers of like small bubbles and small bubbles and citrus. I don't know what's happening with my steep times today. I'm just everywhere. Like I'm sure like intuitively I know, instinctually I know, but there is no rhyme or reason, which is tricky for Qimens who are so easily influenced by things like steep time. And I think, and this reminds me of a few years ago, there was a Huangguan Yin, a Yensha, that that I got, and it was super sour, and it was overly sour in the idea, in the view of like of a good tea. It was like overly sour, so I didn't sell it. But then I kind of regretted not selling it because I think it would have been like a really cool limited time. Would have been a really cool experience for people who knew Yensha. It would be that tea that you just bought one time and it was like, whoa, interesting tea, and then never bought again. But for that one time, it was really interesting experience. That's kind of what I'm feeling from this one. Though I think this one is a little nice. That's actually a really nice cup. I would love to go back. I'd love to go back to Huangshan just for like a day or two, hit my tea shops and like just fucking taste everything and just really pick it out. That's smoothed out actually quite nicely. There's definitely a change where it kind of just like mellowed out, but kind of kept these orangey notes. Went from like citrus orange to just like non-citrusy orange, more like clementines, and it's just a really interesting tea. It's giving me life too. For those of you who are into cha chi, um, I mean, and it might just be the excitement of me hitting an interesting tea, but like, I don't know how to talk about cha chi. What the fuck am I doing? There's some chi to this, we'll say. This stuff has some chi. There's some chi. You know, there's definitely there's a body sensation. Um, I like that. I'll say that. I'll say that there's body sensations. And once again, I don't know if that's related to the tea or not. Um, it could just be my first caffeine of the day. Um, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting here and I'm like, do I want to sell this? Um, I gotta see what the. I think I'm gonna sell this in a small quantity, but once again, kind of putting up, giving it a frame of reference, being like, this is not for people. Well, I mean, I don't want to say that, but like, this is a more sour Qimen. It's more. Um, it's more unique. It's this is. I'll think of the wording a little bit later. But yeah, basically, this is not your standard Qimen. This is not a Qimen of which you can really judge all Qimens. This is a Qimen that is unique, that shows characteristics not often found in Qimens or red teas. Um, Because and then once again, I'm focusing a lot on the sourness, but along with the sourness is things like a clean finish. And that's the interesting thing about it too, that it hits you with the sourness, but then it just the throat feel is nice. There's no lingering. I mean, the sourness lingers a little bit. Um, I could also just be a little sick too. um, or maybe like it's a new Qimen thing. That might be actually another thing. It might just be a new Qimen sort of um, sensation. Because I feel like I got anyway. It's good. I do like it. I do like it actually. I do like it. Definitely not a daily drinker. Like the Qimen that was on the website last year. One of the main reasons I put it on the website was I was just drinking that Qimen 2 or 3 times in a row. Just boom, boom. It was just so easy to drink and so kind of simple but nice. This Qimen is definitely. This is a Qimen you sit with friends, you talk about, you talk about this Qimen. Um, and I think I think this is a Qimen that will um, bring up a lot of conversations. There might be some people who love it, there might be some people who don't like it, and I think both people. And I think both people have a point. And I do think one of the things that's really saving this tea and really making this tea like a good tea is the finish. Is this like you sip the tea and you're hit with these like sour, puckering, acidity, citrus notes, but then it's just boom, that's the answer. It just kind of, it hits you, but then it fades away. Maybe it's like a little lingering. That's it. This is my visual representation of the flavor. Boom, and ignore the audios. I'm working on the audios. But boom, boom. That's the flavor. That's my visual representation of the flavor. It hits you with these characteristics, but then it fades very nicely. It doesn't. You get a lot of them where it's boom, and then and this is what you don't want. You don't want this. You don't want these strong flavors, strong bitterness, strong this, and then they're kind of like lingering and all over the place. That's not good. But it's boom, and then there's that fade. Just, and then there's something a little lingering. There's a little something. I like it. It may be. I think this might end up on the website. Yeah. Because I also feel like, and I've kind of noticed that, like people who, yeah, no, not say that, but achievement. This is achievement for red tea lovers. This is there it is. That's a good way to put it. This is achievement for red tea lovers and red tea enjoyers, red tea aficionados. That's not the word that is. People who like red tea, who've drank a lot of red teas. I'm not even just going to say Qimen. I'm just going to say red teas in general. Um, I think even if you drink a lot of DM homes, because red teas are more or less very similar, you don't get as big as you don't get as big of a flavor spectrum as you do for like green teas. Like a bilo chun, and Maofeng are completely fucking different. You know, Longjing, Guapian, completely fucking different. Yansha, Dianhong, and Qimen, there's more similarities. There are much more similarities. And Dianhong and a red tea made from the Hokway Cote d'Ivoire. Much more similarities than even like Bilo Chun and Longjing, which are grown close together, completely different teas. Qimen and Dianhong, which are grown real far away, completely different materials, completely different almost everything, more similarities. So that's the nice thing about this tea, that if you're a Dianhong lover, you can drink this tea and you'll get what's unique about it, and you'll understand what's happening there. Yeah, there's like this, like, it's like sour, but it's fruity sour, not like spoiled sour, like berry sourness, and even with a little bit of that berry juiciness on this particular steep at least. Quite nice, quite nice. I do think this is going to go on the website. I really do, actually. Um, I need to make sure everyone has tracking numbers and everything is settled with all these new teas going out before I put a new tea on the website. Oh, sorry, I have to make sure all the old teas have gone out before I put new teas on the website. So maybe a month or two. Um, and I got to try it a few more times and casually drink it and play with it. But this might go on the website. We'll see. Thanks for watching.